the ICE agents find or kidnap legal Chicago residents, is the question. ICE agents are allegedly finding, stopping, kidnapping legal Chicago residents. Again, I don't know if this is America or another place. I mean, we're not perfect, but we had this document, it was Constitution and some other stuff that said this is who we are. And in reality, it's not really who we are. Our actions are who we are, but this is getting more brazen. Don Lemon interviewed a man in Chicago who claims he was kidnapped by ICE. Listen.
I had to run in with ICE Monday night, September 29th. I was at home, minding my own business, and I heard a knock at the door. When I looked through the window, I could see people in uniform. They were wearing the green Army fatigue uniforms. When I answered the door, they pushed their way in, and is there anybody in here with? And I told them no. They said, we want you to come with us. And I'm like, what for? What is this all about? And that's when they told me, they said, just shut up and come with us. At that point, I grabbed my backpack and I headed on out the door with them. When we got on the porch, they put my hands behind me. They put those zip ties, they put those on me. Once they got me outside, we came down the street to the corner. And when we got here, right on the corner, they had a lot of units, a lot of cars were out here. There was some members of the press out here. They had right about where that car is at.
Right where the blue car is.
I'm going to give you the rest of the details, but before we move on, for those of you at home who are saying, well, why'd you go with them? I refer you to the first story on Indisputable today. I refer you to the footage. You look it up. It'll be on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to find it. If you have questions about why this gentleman went with those who showed up in uniform. Man claims they then put him into a budget rent-a-truck. Huh? It's weird, but, well, let's hear more from this gentleman.
Budget rent-a-truck. They put me up into the truck. When I got in the truck, there were already about maybe 10 people who were already in the truck. And then they started bringing more people. They had everybody in zip ties. We were in the truck for about, I'd say maybe 20, 25 minutes. They sealed the truck up and the truck pulled off. Next thing I know, they're unloading us and we were out at the facility in Broadview.
I'm going to ask you about, I want to know what the conditions were like inside, but let's go back a little bit. Mm-hmm. When they knocked on your door,
right,
and they told you to come out.
Right.
Did they tell you why?
No.
Did they ask you anything like who you are?
No. I tried to tell them.
Okay, so now we're up to a budget rent-a-truck. Come outside. He had his backpack. He didn't say it, but I'm going to say it had to be a rough ride. I don't know, and I moved a lot. I don't know budget rent-a-truck that has a lot of seat belts and stuff for passengers in the cab, whatever you call that, the boxy part. But that's just me, and that's actually on the list of priorities here. That's going to be right around here. Another Chicago man, we can tell you, was fined $130. Why? Well, ICE said he was not carrying identification, aka slave papers, I guess. Remember when Blacks had to carry their I'm free papers. Otherwise, they could be sent back into slavery. You can say I'm full of rhetoric, but this is where we are. I just told you it's Chicago, America. Okay. NBC5 Chicago reported Rueben Antonio Cruz, age 60, originally from El Salvador, said he was sitting with a friend near Clark Street and Lunt Avenue when immigration agents suddenly pulled up in front of them. Hello, how you doing? I was looking at my phone when they got out and asked, do you have your papers? That's the quote. I didn't say that. A minute ago, I told you this was about slave papers, but that's the quote. Do you have your papers? He said, I told them yes, but that they were at home, that I could show you them if they wanted. Mr. Cruz, you don't have to show your papers. If I'm in charge, I don't know what Clarence Thomas and them on the captured Supreme Court would say, but this is crazy. What happened to probable cause? Oh, that's right. They said just because he kind of looked ethnic, yeah, you can ask for your papers. Cruz, who suffers from heart problems, lives in a government subsidized apartment, said agents placed him in their vehicle, drove around the neighborhood, questioned him before verifying his identity. I'm going to get through the story, but again, this is a behavior that the mafia would do before they escalate. Where's my money? The shakedown. Why don't you come with me? You don't know what's going to happen to you. You have no idea what's going to happen to you. If you're lucky, you get released, take you back to a location, come up with their money, and you might see tomorrow. Maybe. Agents eventually confirmed he is legally in the country, but still gave him a $130 citation for not having his documents on him. Under federal law, permanent residents must carry their registration card with them at all times. So they are slave papers. Legal experts said this rule was rarely enforced until now. This incident happened Thursday. As of late Monday, Department of Homeland Security had not commented on the case or on the practice of issuing fines to legal residents for not carrying their identification. Now, let's talk about New York. Biggest ICE detention center is banning book deliveries. And let's move more back to slavery. Don't give them books, don't teach them how to read. I'm just saying. Immigration detention center near Buffalo has banned book deliveries, reversing a long-standing policy that allowed detainees to obtain fantasy and romance novels, Sudoku puzzles, word searches, Spanish language Bibles, English textbooks. New York Focus has learned. Buffalo Federal Detention Facility stopped accepting personal book shipments for detainees in July, said Jason Koontz, spokesperson for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which runs that facility. Since late July, volunteers with Justice for Migrant Families have sent about 20 books to the facility, which rejected them all, said the advocacy group's book coordinator, Abigail Cookie. Sometimes books have been returned with the note, moved, left no address, while the intended recipient is still detained there, she said. The rejected books include an illustrated Spanish-English dictionary, Spanish translation of A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin, and the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John Gottman and Nan Silver. So more tomfoolery, cruelty, harm, and who gonna check me boo conduct, Jamie? What say you?
I mean, it's utter bedlam. I know you made several analogies to slave
Am I wrong?
driving, but it struck me as something else. Struck me around a different government around the 1930s in Germany is what it kind of sounded like, me more so than that, requiring people walk around with proper identification, and if you look vaguely ethnic, you're running into some trouble. You're getting zip tied and thrown into the back of a truck. I saw an article a headline in the Onion 2-3 days ago. It said Ohio begins executing random people in hopes that they're criminals, and I chuckled at that for all of 2 seconds, and then I'm like, how far are we away from that?
Thank you.
And then it made me stop chuckling because ICE is acting like some sort of, I don't even know what. I don't know whose Americans this is. I know Donald Trump ran initially in 24 on rounding up undocumented criminals. And there are some in this country who are here illegally and they're committing crimes, in some cases violent crimes. Now, this is certainly the overwhelming minority of people, but they exist. And so that was a popular call to action. And that part of the reason why he got elected. And then instead of doing that, he jumped right over that to peaceful undocumented immigrants with no criminal record, undocumented children, then jumped right to documented immigrants. He's starting to detain and deport them. Then now United States citizens are getting hassled and harangued and detained, and in a couple of cases actually deported by this government. Whose America is this? You say slavery. This is worse than, well, it's not worse than slavery, but some of this conduct would have been abhorrent 150 years ago, and now we're living in it today like it's just normal. You alluded to the Constitution. Now, we never did in the Declaration of Independence. We never have done a great job of upholding the standards that we set out to be. But I don't know if there ever is a period in history where we felt like we were going backwards as fast as this, and we're just abjectly ignoring a whole bunch of standards.
I, I'm trying to see when the last time. Well, I was actually Googling Michael Jackson moonwalking across that stage at, I believe, the American Music Awards or the Grammys, and how long ago that was. I've not seen somebody moonwalk as effortlessly, as quickly as he did until now. Whose America is it? It's Donald Trump's America. He'll do what he pleases. He says it over and over again. I can do whatever I want. He doesn't say king, but he says, I'm the president of the United States. I can do whatever I want. And he does whatever he wants.
Right.
And some other billionaires like Pritzker, governor Illinois, stands up to him, come get me. Every time Pritzker says that, by the way, Jamie, I say, I don't know if you should even be saying that, because I think he'll try to come get you. He's going to try to come get you.
He will, and he has. He will, and he has. And the Supreme Court has decided that anything he does as president is perfectly above board. And he's heard that, and he said, well, hold my beer, because I got a plenty of plans for people who have disagreed with me in the past. I mean, he's using ICE. Like, I don't even know why he bothers to send the military out. Why he bothers to send National Guard? Because ICE is doing a hell of a job acting like a paramilitary force. Don't bother going through other less legal means, because apparently it's legal for them to do whatever I almost said something, whatever they feel like.
I finished the thought. And you're right, because they don't even need the proper training. They're not well trained, They've got these $50,000 bonuses, many of them not well trained, wouldn't make it in some other things, some other institutions. But they're damn it if they're not doing the president's bidding here. 1983, that's when Michael Jackson publicly did that. I saw a clip of that recently, that incredible moonwalk. It was incredible. This is perhaps usurps it in such that we have not seen this conduct in recent times. Okay. Stunning, sick. Carry your papers. And even then, don't think that that's going to make sure that you're not abused in any way. But I guess carry your papers. We're here. We're here, folks.